Hi there, my name is Jason Schmaltz and I'm an AMGA single pitch instructor. I work here in Atlanta for Atlanta Rock Climbing Company. Definitely check out our website if you're in the area and want to go climbing or learn how to climb outside. We have a lot of great courses. Today I'm going to show you how to belay from the top, which can be useful in two different scenarios. One, and probably the first one that comes to mind, is multi-pitch climbing, where one partner will lead up and then belay the follower from the top, and then lead up again and belay the follower up from the top again. But another useful scenario for belaying from the top is in a single pitch environment, when you take a lot of your friends out climbing and you want to take really cool pictures of them from the top as they climb, and you also don't want to climb every single route twice. So you would lead up a route and then allow them to climb while you belay from the top, and then you could go on to the next climb after that, after you clean the anchors. So I'll show you today the sequence of how to do it, and we're going to show how to belay with the Grigri specifically. We'll have a different video on belaying with the ATC and guide mode, but the Grigri is by far the most efficient, fail-safe method, and especially if you're new, I highly recommend you using the Grigri over the ATC. Okay. So the first thing that a climber would do as they got to the top is approach the anchors and set up a system. I've set up a quad system here, and this is actually a triple strand quad, which is very similar to a normal quad, but just a little more compact. And we may show you how to set that up a different time, but nothing really super special. And I'll clip into one of the two master points. That's why I like using a quad when I'm belaying from the top. So I have one master point for me and one for my partner. So I'll clip in and then I will clove hitch to that carabiner, lock down, and now I'm safe. Okay, and now I can go hands-free and do what I need to do to help my partner get up. So the very next thing is to pull up the climbing rope from where my partner is, and flake it nicely on whatever ledge I have or surface. You can also, if there's no surface and it's a hanging belay, you can flake it on your tether, and we may show how to do that in a different video. But once I've flaked it enough where the climbing rope to my partner is tight, they'll say that's me, and that's my cue to go ahead and put them on belay. Okay, so the very next thing is to take my Grigri out. Okay. And to orient it very similarly to how I would on the ground, with the picture of the climber going toward my follower and the picture of the brake hand coming toward me, and that's what I'll belay on. Okay, Johnny, why don't you get a close-up shot of what I'm showing them with this Grigri. So again, the line to the climber will go by the climber icon, and then the line that I will brake on will be by the brake icon. Close that and then clip in to the master point and lock down. Okay, so now I'm all set to belay my climber, and I can shout to them that they are on belay. And the motion that I will use to belay them is, firstly, always keeping one hand on the brake strand, or the strand that I'm taking in the slack. Okay, so I'll never have this strand with no hands on it. And then I like to use my other hand to feel where my climber is as they climb up. And as I feel that they have slack, I will take in slack, and then I'll actually grab the brake hand with my right hand and slide my left hand up. And again, I'm feeling, do they have slack? And once they have some slack as they progress, I'll suck in, and similarly so on and so forth. Okay, and if they ever fall, I have the brake strand in hand, and the Grigri will also execute. Okay? But assuming my climber or my follower makes it to the top, I can be a gentleman if we're doing multi-pitch and go ahead and put another carabiner in their master point and clove hitch them in. And lock down. And now they're in safe, and then I can remove the Grigri, and then we can progress. Johnny, why don't you come get another close-up of what I would do on multi-pitch. So get it right nice in here. So as my climber approaches the anchor system, I will place a carabiner in for them, all while keeping my left hand on the brake strand, and take their rope. And put a clove hitch on and lock down. And they're good to go. Okay, John, you can back up. So at this point, if I was on multi-pitch, we'd have the climber right here on their figure eight at the end of their rope, and I'm on the other end of the rope with my figure of eight, and we'd have all the rest of the rope in the middle of us, and we'd be ready to go ahead and climb from there so we could disassemble this Grigri. Okay. In the case of single pitch, and I'm just allowing my friends to climb up while I stay at the top. Again, we're belaying. And my friend will be symbolized by my very heavy climbing bag. So they get to the top like this. There's not really a reason to put them on tether or anything like that. If I do need to go hands-free and help them with anything, I could take this brake strand and tie a quick overhand in it. Even though the Grigri is very reliable, it's important to back it up if I take my hands off the brake hand or off the brake strand. And now this is the limitation to somebody falling if the Grigri were to fail. Okay? And then I can help my partner with anything that they need, and then get them ready to lower again. Okay? So once my partner has taken all their pictures or given me a high five or told me how fun the route was, I can prepare to lower them. But I don't want to just lower them with the Grigri in this configuration and pulling on a lever, because there's no friction like you would have if you were belaying from the bottom in a top rope setting. So I need to reorient the brake strand so that there's friction in the system in the case that the Grigri fails. So that can be done by taking a non-locker or locker is fine in this case, and taking the brake strand and redirecting it up. And you can see now the brake strand is oriented more similarly to if you were in a top rope setting belaying from the bottom, where brake is down relative to the Grigri. So Johnny, why don't you come get another close-up of what this looks like. So when they're ready to go down, I will take the brake strand up, redirect it, and you can see the rope now going over the Grigri, introducing more friction in the system. Okay? Okay, Johnny, you can go ahead and back up. And now I'm ready to lower. So I will pull the lever just like normal if you were at the bottom, to allow my partner to lower down. Now normally if I was here by myself, I would come over top and pull like this, but to allow you to see, I will pull the lever from behind. Okay. And I'm going to pull it nice and slow and let it execute slowly, just to make sure that rope starts going over the Grigri friction surface. And you can see that's lowering nicely. Okay. Johnny, why don't you come get a close-up of what this looks like while it's lowering. Okay. So again, pulling the lever back, and watch how that rope starts to go over the friction surface perfectly as my partner lowers back down to the ground. And they're back down. Perfect. Okay, Johnny, that's good. Thank you. Once my partner's back down to the ground, I can give them some slack so they can untie their knot, take the rope off redirect. If I have multiple climbers coming up, I can leave that redirect carabiner there And now I'm ready for the next climber to come back up. Everything's configured the way it should. I've got my coil of rope in between my tether and the Grigri, and I'm ready to go. I hope you found that video useful for both belaying as climbers climb up and then lowering from the top. Catch you on the next one.